So I'm Chris Cataldo. I'm the content designer here and social media coordinator. And today I have with me Kelly Mandia, who is the head of the history department here at the Knox School. So Kelly, tell me a little bit about you, a little bit about your background, what you do here.
So I am the history department chair here at the Knox School. This is going on my 4th year here at the Knox School. I have over 20 years experience teaching social studies, teaching the histories at various levels. I've been in the K through 12 system, teaching middle school and high school for the majority of my career. And for about 13 years, I taught at the college level, teaching both undergraduate history courses in addition to observing social studies student teachers who are going for their certification, their teaching certification for New York State. So I would go in and observe them in their respective schools and judge them, qualify them, complete a rubric. Sorry. You should do outtakes. But I would critique them on their teaching experience and make sure that they are solid candidates to move on to teaching in the school system.
So when you first came into Knox, did you come in as the head of the history department? Or,
I did not.
So did you work up in the ranks or?
Yes. So I was here for a year as a regular history teacher, and by my 2nd year, I was invited to serve as history department chair, and I've been filling that role for almost 3 years now.
Okay. In regards to your curriculum and kind of teaching day to day, what's the most kind of, for Knox as a whole, what's the most important for you of the kind of ideas and the mantra that we push for the students? What's like our goals for the students? And, because I know at the end of the day, we really want our kids to be in the top level classes that they can be in.
Yes.
So what's it like kind of assessing the kids and, understanding where they lie and then kind of pushing them where they need to? What's that experience like for you?
Well, being that we're a college preparatory school, we want to make sure that our students are well prepared for the college experience. So taking where they are now and ensuring that they build the skills that they will need in college. So we take them from whatever level they are and just continue to not only help them build those skills by creating activities, no matter what class they're taking in the history department,
right.
Making sure that they're practicing those skills that they will be using at the upper level. So constantly pushing them, having them think critically, that's probably the most important thing, as opposed to simply just rote memorization. We want to ensure that they're able to build on that sort of basic knowledge and then apply that knowledge in different ways to make them critical thinkers and to try to prepare them not only for the college experience but for the problem solving that they'll be using as adults.
And to that same point, I think we apply that evenly across. It's not just you, it's not just your department. I think all of our departments apply that idea evenly across the board. And even since my short time of coming to Knox this year, I always note like the schedule these kids are on and how challenging it is. Because it's not just like, public school background for me. It's like you go to school, I played a sport and then I went home and did homework and I thought that was hard enough.
Yes.
It was challenging then for me. And to see these kids, they come in at the crack of dawn, they're here, they're dialed in all day long, and they have the longer class periods, which can be, I know how challenging that can be.
Yes.
They're essentially taking double the class load every semester because we do A days and E days.
Yes.
So I always note that because and then not to mention we have sports and then we have extracurriculars, we have our all school meetings, and then they have mandated study time at the end of the day. It's just like, these kids are so regimented.
Yes.
And it's so challenging for one, especially in these formative years, but for me, it's so impressive.
Yes.
And honestly, a lot of these kids are going to go on to college and it's going to be almost, in a weird way, a break. Or it's going to be almost a step down because we're so up in our scheduling and our rigorous kind of structure we have here. And to me, it's always fascinating. And the kids rise to the occasion every single day. It's so impressive. Yeah. And to me, I love that the kids, they bring it. They bring it every single day. And do you see that kind of translate academically? Do you see that they're putting in the extra work and it shows day to day? Or what's that experience to you on your end?
Having been at the college level and having taught freshmen at the college level, one of the toughest jobs for new students at the college level is actually regimenting their own time.
Sure.
Time management is the most difficult skill for kids. So I think the Knox experience here, although it is a rigorous experience, I think it ingrains in them that regiment, that I have to make sure that I build in my study time, because class time is, although periods are longer technically in college, they have a lot more free time. So to get them used to making sure that they build in that study time with whatever else they may do on college campuses, and because we encourage here students to get very involved in after-school activities and extracurricular activities, we want to see them do that and learn how to manage their time while balancing a busy schedule. So I think that this experience gives them the opportunities to build in, sort of internalize that schedule, and make sure that once they move on to college, that they have an advantage maybe over other students, that they have that ability to time manage better because they have had experience in managing a very busy schedule.
It's such a unique experience. Because I mean, there's plenty of boarding schools, but I've never seen such a rigorous kind of structure, and to me, invaluable. Like we're doing them such a service by helping them build that so early.
Yes, even though longer periods here are simulated to the college experience. Not having classes every day, having longer periods, and the longer periods enable us to get more in-depth with the material, to be able to do more, to be able to have an extended period of time for them to work on projects and sustain study over a longer period of time.
And get more in-depth in a one sitting, which me from public school background, we had like 40-minute periods.
Exactly.
Right? So it's so hard to go all the way in when you're so limited in a lot of ways.
Exactly.
So, to me, it's a great system.
Yes.
And when we're speaking about extracurricular activities, and I know we're associated with a couple of different societies here and clubs, so can you speak a little bit about that and how you lend your hand to those?
So I'm the advisor for the Semper Ad Lucem chapter, which is the Knox chapter of Rho Kappa, which is a national honor society for the social studies.
Right.
It is the only nationally recognized social studies honors program in the United States. We began this program just this past year at Knox. And as serving for the advisor, I not only encourage students to excel in their study of the social studies, but we will take the kids on field trips so that they can immerse themselves in, the histories and in what they enjoy as far as studying history and getting that sort of real life experience and seeing things instead of sort of just hearing about it in class.
Sure. I mean, it's a great experience and be able to have that opportunity. Because like you said, we didn't have this last year. So again, it's another opportunity, I think, for these kids to, again, stand out, get more immersive, get more into it. I love that opportunity factor that we have here at Knox. We have so many clubs and activities for these kids and honor societies. I mean, we have another handful of honor societies on top of that. And it's just like an incredible opportunity for these kids. I mean, we had so many kids that got tapped a few weeks ago. And it's just incredible. Like, it seemed like the list was never ending. It felt like it was the whole school. We had so many kids. So it's just nice to see that we're performing at that level to where we have a ton of engagement and activity with it.
Exactly.
That's amazing. And so you're not only a teacher here, you are a parent here.
Yes,
right?
I am.
So you had one previously and you got one in now. Please tell me what it's like. Because you have such a unique experience being a teacher and a parent.
Yes.
Right? So we've been talking a lot about the teacher side. I would love to hear more about the parent side and one, being here with your kids, and if you could speak a little bit maybe to their experience here.
Yes, so it really is a unique experience to be both a teacher here and also a parent here. So I have the opportunity of driving in and home with my kids every day, so I get to hear about their experiences here, what they enjoy, what they did, and the schedule, as opposed to where my kids have been in a public school. So I get to see their experiences from a different side. And both of my kids thrived here. One of my kids was very shy, and he was able to blossom here because of the small environment, because we're really more like a family here than we are sort of school teacher experience. He felt very comfortable, so he was able to become vice president of student council. He was able to get involved in sports activities that previously he might not have stepped forward and taken the chance with. Also, both of my boys have had the opportunity to get involved academically in honor societies. They've had opportunities to be in smaller classes.
Right.
So the smaller class sizes have really nurtured their interests in areas that they previously might not have been able to take part in.
Right.
So.
And that's amazing to hear, because we can't hide in our classes. You know,
Yes.
like it's very like everyone gets their time here, which I love about it. And to me, you're speaking to. I want to speak to your son that's in college right now. We put a lot of time and effort into our college counseling experience here at Knox. Like, it's such a pillar of these kids' journeys, not just junior and senior year, but it starts as early as freshman year. Understanding what the kids want to do, what are they interested in, and we're starting at the first step and working our way up. So, in your experience, what has your son's experience been? Kind of transitioning into college. He's a freshman in college now. You know, he's fresh into there. He's fresh out of Knox. I've seen him around campus a bunch of times. He loves coming back. How has he been adjusting to going to school from here?
His transition experience was relatively easy, I have to say. He had taken an AP psychology course here at the Knox School, and he found his passion. Right. So he knew from that point that he wanted to study psychology. Even one of his weakest areas, which is writing, he's finding that some of his highest scores are in his writing classes this year. So the Knox experience, because he had a weakness and we have such small classes, they were really able to assist him one-on-one, really able to nurture him and to help him develop his writing far more than it had been, to really nurture his writing and to help him make great improvements. I think the structure here also has assisted him in the easy transition to college. Right. Classes are longer. He has to structure himself. He has to build in that discipline to study on his own, spend many hours studying. So I think the whole Knox experience really prepared him superbly for the college experience, and he's transitioned well. Even the experience of helping students find what's the best match for them as far as which type of college campus, which environment is best for him. He absolutely loves where he is, and I credit Knox with helping him to find his happy place.
I love to hear, positive stories about alumni at the end of the day. We have alumni come back constantly. They love coming back to be here because it's such a home environment for them. So it's nice to see people come back, and two, people speak so candidly about their experience here, which your son has done. Every time I see him, he's always got a nice thing to say about us, which is great.
For sure.
So you've been in the community for a few years now, about 4 years, you said. So what could you say and speak about the community as a whole at Knox? Maybe it's just, we have a lot of events on campus. It's not all about the academics. We do so much more here. And we try to actively let people know it's not just about the school. Like, we have extracurriculars, we have the sports, we have these events on campus. Could you maybe speak to your experience with those and being a part of this very close-knit community?
Students are able to connect with one another in each one of their classes, and that extends itself even into the extracurricular activities. So these sports allow students to, again, perhaps get involved in a sport, get some experience with a sport that they haven't previously had experience with, and maybe meet a new group that they haven't had in class before. And again, that family experience extends itself into each one of the curriculars that they engage in. The many clubs that we have on campus that are primarily student-run allow students to not only work with one another, but they're learning important leadership skills, and they're also learning very important cooperation skills, how to work with others. And as much as you love people, as much as you love your family, you're going to have conflict. So they're able to resolve conflict, and again, because we're family and we love one another, they generally do it in a very respectful way, and they respect their peers, and they respect their teachers and their coaches and so forth. So again, it all comes down to that family environment that we have here at the Knox School. Absolutely.
And in my experience, these kids are just so mature in that department of respect and understanding. Like, they just get things at a higher level than I think maybe the average high schooler might not. Even and we're all the way down to middle school. So even these kids, like, they're here. They're half of them are boarders, and they're here doing it. And they're some of their stuff are mandatory, like theater, and they really have to get into it because they don't have really a choice. But at the end of the day, it's such a good experience for them. It just builds them culturally. It opens their palate and their gaze to understand what's going on around them, and the maturity just kind of comes with that new territory.
Very true.
Which is so incredible to see, because these kids, again, we've been saying they take on so much, they do so much,
Yes.
and it starts young, which is a nice thing.
Yeah.
And we've had so many kids that are here from middle school all the way up through.
Yes.
So, and to see those kids, this year particularly, we're graduating quite a few of them, so it's an emotional time, and even my
Yes.
short time to see these kids go is hard.
Well, you had mentioned about the middle school.
Mm-hmm.
The nice thing about the middle school is in most public schools, middle school is kept in a separate building.
Mm-hmm.
So here at the Knox School, the middle school students are nurtured within their own environment they're nurtured with one another.
Right.
But then because of the on-campus activities that we
Mm-hmm.
have and how we intermingle so much, they do
Right.
get that time with the older students.
They certainly do.
So they do get the time to have lunch with some of the older students if they wish,
Mm-hmm.
to get involved in some of the after-school activities, some of the clubs that are on campus. So they get that big brother, big sister experience,
Yeah.
and at the same time, they're in the classroom with their peers.
Right.
So,
It's that perfect balance of a blended experience, but they still have their dedicated kind of experience. It's the best of both worlds.
Yes.
Because then they get so much more prepared for the high school year instead of like that
Exactly.
culture shock of
Yes.
freshman year of high school.
Yes.
Which is again another one of the many unique opportunities here at Knox. Which I think the list is endless at this point. We could
Yeah.
talk all day about
Yeah.
it, but thank you so much for your time today, Kelly.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Chris.
All the viewers, everybody that watches, thank you so much for tuning in with us, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much, Kelly. I appreciate
Thanks.
it.
Thank you. Thanks so much.